In a world that equates volume with value and visibility with virtue, there exists a man who defies this logic through his very presence. He is not the loudest in the room, nor does he vie for the center of attention. Yet when he enters a space, something shifts. Conversations subtly lower in volume, glances are cast in his direction, and an unspoken acknowledgement permeates the atmosphere. This is the quiet power of the confident, solitary man, the Sigma male. Today we decode the psychological mechanics behind why a man who stands apart, who is comfortable in his own silence, commands a deeper, more instinctive form of respect than the most boisterous leader. 1. The paradox of non-seeking attention. Human psychology is perverse. We are instinctively drawn to what does not seek us. The man desperately vying for approval broadcasts insecurity, triggering our subconscious skepticism. The solitary, confident man broadcasts the opposite. His lack of interest in performing for an audience signals a complete and self-validated identity. This creates a powerful psychological magnet. When someone does not need your validation suddenly becomes more valuable to give. His respect is not a commodity he's trying to purchase from the social market. It is a jurisdiction he already governs within himself. By not asking for it, he makes it the ultimate prize. People naturally orient themselves towards sources of quiet confidence, hoping some of that self-possession might reflect onto them. His very indifference to their opinion forces them to consider his. This creates a dynamic where respect flows toward him, not out of obligation, but as a natural tribute to his established self-ownership. 2. The demonstration of supreme resourcefulness. A man who is genuinely comfortable in prolonged solitude demonstrates one of humanity's most admirable traits: supreme resourcefulness. He is not dependent on external stimulation, constant companionship, or groupthink to function, create, or find peace. This signals a profound inner capability that others find both impressive and slightly enigmatic. We respect this instinctively because it speaks to an ancestral ideal of survival and competence. In our deep past, the individual who could thrive alone, who could think for himself and solve problems without a committee, was the most valuable member of the tribe. The modern Sigma male triggers this ancient recognition. He is the intellectual and emotional equivalent of the skilled hunter or the resilient explorer, a man whose survival toolkit is internal. We respect what we cannot easily replicate, and his contentment in solitude is a skill few possess. It suggests that if the social world vanished tomorrow, he would not just survive but continue to build, think, and create from his own internal reserves. 3. The integrity of uncompromised behavior. The solitary, confident man is often a man of rigid internal consistency. Because he spends so much time in his own company, his actions are not shaped by the fluctuating expectations of a crowd. His behavior in private is his behavior in public. There is no performative switch, no difference between the man he is when observed and the man he is when alone. This integrity commands a deep, almost reflexive respect because it is both rare and fundamentally trustworthy. People sense that his yes means yes and his no means no, not because he fears social consequence, but because his word is an extension of his identity. He is the same man alone in a room as he is in a boardroom. This consistency cuts through the noise of social maneuvering and presents something solid and reliable, a character that is not for sale, not for lease, and not subject to revision based on popular vote. In a world of situational ethics and performative values, his unwavering self-definition stands as a landmark of authenticity. 4. The mastery of calm in the storm. Observe any crisis, a heated argument, a business setback, a public failure. The loudest voices often belong to the most panicked minds. The solitary, confident man often becomes the eye of the hurricane. His comfort with silence and his habitual internal processing allow him to regulate his emotions when others are losing theirs. He doesn't get swept up in the collective anxiety because he is not emotionally entangled in the group's psyche. This calm is not passivity, it is a potent, observant stillness. It commands respect because it is the recognizable foundation of clear judgment and effective action. While others react, he assesses. While others emote, he analyzes. His quiet power is the power of the deep current versus the crashing wave, less visible on the surface, but far more forceful and directional in its effect. People naturally, instinctively, look to the calmest person in the room for stability, and his solitary nature has rigorously trained him to be that unshakable anchor, regardless of the chaos swirling around him. 5. The economy of communication. The man who speaks sparingly forces people to listen intently. His words are not background noise, they are deliberate, measured interventions. This economy of communication stems from a solitary habit, thinking before speaking, valuing precision and substance over volume and frequency. Each sentence he utters carries disproportionate weight because it isn't diluted by 100 others. When he offers an observation, it is often piercingly insightful. When he asks a question, it cuts directly to the core of the matter, exposing unexamined assumptions. When he makes a statement, it is considered final and carries the weight of completed thought. This verbal discipline commands profound intellectual respect. It reveals a mind that processes complex information internally and only releases a finished product, in stark contrast to the communal thinker who uses public conversation as his external processor. His strategic silence makes his eventual speech inherently valuable and authoritative. 6. The aura of unfinished mystery. A man who is an open book, who shares every thought, feeling, and vulnerability, eventually becomes predictable and familiar. Two states that over time erode mystique and, by extension, a certain degree of respect. The confident, solitary man maintains an aura of unfinished mystery. His internal world is vast, complex, and largely private, curated for his own understanding rather than public display. This mystery is not a manipulative game. It is the natural, organic result of a rich inner life that is not performatively curated for external consumption. People instinctively respect what they do not fully understand because it suggests hidden depths, latent capabilities, or reservoirs of knowledge not immediately visible. He is like a castle with most of its rooms and treasures undisclosed. You respect the formidable structure because you can intuitively sense, but not visually comprehend, its full scale, history, and complexity. This enduring mystery prevents him from being easily figured out, categorized, and mentally filed away, ensuring he is perpetually engaged with as a substantive and evolving entity. 7. The embodiment of fearless autonomy. Ultimately, his quiet power commands the deepest respect because it embodies a fearless, operational autonomy that both inspires and quietly intimidates. He has consciously examined the standard social contract, the common trade of personal freedom for tribal belonging, of raw authenticity for collective approval, and has deliberately chosen to negotiate his own different terms. This is a profoundly courageous stance, to consistently walk one's own path, to find all necessary validation internally, to face the collective weight of the world from a position of chosen solitude, requires a fortitude that the socially dependent can scarcely comprehend. We respect courage, especially the quiet, enduring, day-after-day kind that requires no audience for validation. He is not dramatically rebelling against the system. He is simply peacefully residing in his own established sovereignty. And in a world populated by followers, eager collaborators, and unconscious conformists, the mere sight of a true sovereign, quiet, confident, and entirely complete in himself, commands a form of respect that is never demanded, but is inevitably, silently, and powerfully given. It is the respect we reserve not for the person who has conquered others, but for the man who has first conquered himself. If you want to understand how this quiet power translates into leadership without authority, watch our next video. The silent leadership, how Sigma males influence without dominating.